What's happening, good people? Welcome to the channel. I'm Wes, aka Mr. Budget Watch, and in this one I'll be taking a look at the Escapement Time VH31, a homage to the vintage King Seiko. I grabbed this one during the last sale, but unfortunately their store was closed due to the global situation. Not going to go into it, but now it's back open and operating as normal. So you can find a link to this down in the description. But is it actually worth picking up? That's what we're going to find out. Currently, as of today, the 13th, when I'm actually creating this video, there are 7 different colours available, though there isn't much stock, and actually the white one is sold out. However, I have confirmed with the owner they will be restocking once they do sell out, so that's always good to see. There is also a larger 40mm version if this smaller one is a little bit on the petite side. The 40mm also has 6 different colour variants, and there is more in stock too, so that could be a solid choice if this one does sell out. Essentially it's the same watch, just a little bit bigger. So getting this one measured, and it's a 35.9. This does increase to 37.9 if you include that crown. Lug to lug is a tiny 41.5mm. The watch is a mere 9.4mm thick and has a lug width of 18mm. Always nice to see. Finally, the crown, bit small at 4.9mm, but any bigger and I think it would be a little bit too big. The case is made from stainless steel, though I'm not sure if it's 316L, as it doesn't really confirm, so it could potentially be 316L or the lesser 304, but both are, pretty reasonable at this price point. On the plus side, we do have a sapphire crystal, and it comes on a leather-ish strap, but more on that later. The water resistance is quoted at 50m, and that's honestly fine for this style of watch. We also have a screw-down crown and case back as well. Quite impressive to see. Finally, on that leather strap, well, leather-ish, it weighs 44 gram. Like many dress washers, the bezel is high polish and has a gentle slope, though this one at the ends turns into a waterfall style drop off which blends into the mid case. It's very cool. The crystal, as mentioned, is sapphire, which is always great to see on affordable watches, and it does seem to have a smidge of AR as well, which is always nice to see. The rehaut is plain polished, and the printed minute track is pretty standard too, though pretty well done for the price point. The indices are all applied and have a boxed facet style with beveled edges. These again look really smart and well done, and because they're high polish, they catch the light really nicely. At the 12 you'll notice a double baton, where everywhere else it's a single, and no date window in sight. Thank you. Text is kept to a minimum 2 with just escapement time printed in cursive and quartz above the 6. Well, that's it. Nothing too drastic at all, and it actually suits the watch quite well. To the dial and hands, and here we have a matte green dial. This is a very nice shade, and I actually do like how all the elements pop off this, which you don't actually get to see if you opt for one of the brighter colours. Of course, this one's not the most eye-catching in the range, but I appreciate that it's a little bit more understated. If you want flasher, then of course, then you'd opt for one of the brighter options out there. In hindsight, I actually wish I'd have gone with the ivory dial, as this green one is just not the most versatile. The hands are a Dauphine style with subtly cut edges for a bit of interest and light play. Again, high polished and done to a standard better than I would have expected. The sides of the case are all high polished, but do have a nice flow from the top into the mid. It's very organic and classy looking. There's also a subtle detail on the inner lugs too, which mimic that of the indices somewhat. Very nice little detail. The crown is signed with their cursive E logo, which looks great, though it's a little bit on the small side, but more on that soon. The case back is screwed down and has a mix of finishing with a circular brushed outer border and inner edge circle, with escapement time done in a contrasting brush finish to make it pop off. It's clean, simple and well done. As for the strap, it's, well, not good, and in fact it's very cheap. On the plus side, I do like the pebble texture and the nice taper, which is 18 down to 14.5 at the long side and 18 to 15.8 at the buckle side. I also like the colour too. The downside is the material is not the best quality. Now, I wasn't expecting some high grade leather, but this one is very plastic feeling. So bad actually that I did end up taking it off pretty much straight away because I just couldn't cope with it. The buckle is nice though, which is a bit of an upside, but as mentioned, you can't expect premium, at this price point. On the wrist, the stock strap is not a good experience, to be truthful. The strap is rigid and not supple at all. Even if you give this a few weeks, I don't think it's going to break in at all, just given the quality of the material. I mean, having experience with a lot of straps, you can tell when a strap has room to break in, but this one is just one of them that doesn't. Again, this is not a deal breaker because of the budget nature of the watch. However, get this watch in a half decent strap and it's lovely to wear. The watch is so compact and will fit just about any wrist size. Though you guys that have a really thick wrist might want to opt for that 40mm version, unless you really like that small vintage look. Because the watch is slim too, it easily slips under a long sleeve top, and it also hugs really nicely thanks to that slender case back and slight lug slope. It's by no means the most comfortable watch I've ever worn, but if you do end up with one, please do me a favour, get that strap, put it in the box where it belongs, and get it on something half decent. At the core you'll find the VH31, a quartz that thinks it's an automatic. If you aren't familiar with this movement, it's a sweeping quartz. Traditionally quartzes have a single tick that's a little bit clunky, but this one moves a little bit more like a mechanical at 4 beats per second instead of 1. Keep in mind this is 2 less than a proper automatic, but it's still way smoother and nicer than a single tick. This does have a downside though, as it brings the battery life down to a mere 2 years. On the plus side, it's ridiculously accurate though, at negative to plus 15 seconds per month, which is better than the 20 you usually get. It also takes a 371 battery, which is also the SR920SW if you need to replace it. In use, the watch is a little bit of a mixed bag. On the plus side, the movement is very nice and smooth, though the crown is a bit rough around the edges. It sticks. By that it means it's not really smooth to turn. I'm not sure if this is a common issue or if mine's a little bit defective. I have tried cleaning the crown, but that didn't really work. The crown size is actually where I thought I'd have the biggest problem, but that isn't the case, as it's quite easy to use once you've unscrewed it. I will say that if you have really large fingers though, it might be a little tricky because it is very small. So what's the verdict? Well, there's actually a lot to like about this watch, especially considering it's just a smidge over 60 quid. The dial is well done. It's solid enough made and comfortable if you get it off that stock strap. I think I should have gone with a larger one for myself personally, but even despite that, it's a really good watch. Again, if you just get rid of that strap and put it on something good. So what do you guys think? Is this one a good one? Let me know. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads, and of course follow me on social media at Mr. Budget Watch. Thanks again, I'll see you soon.